So I'd like this. I would have liked this candle right here to be, all the way to the top. But it's still a good sign. Maybe a reversal. I don't dare say we're going green because I did that up here and look, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days down after I said, oh, we're going green. So, no, that's not happening. We're going to need a few days of reassurance here that this is going to reverse. Because we had it, well, this is, we had kind of had that candle here, and we got kind of 6 days up, and then they just ripped it down. I say they as in, who knows, institutions, shorts, market maker. I don't trust any of them. It's ridiculous. There's no way this should be this low. No way. Even with stuff going on. And isn't it something that every time it makes a run, a little run, something happens, like a market rug pull, or, if you look at some of the news articles that came out. There was one from Benzinga, and too bad I didn't have my phone. I don't know, I had on my Weibo thing, there was several articles. It's like stocks I wouldn't touch with the 10-foot pole and all this shit. And that's just, they're just playing the game. That was paid by somebody to write that article. And I always like how when they write an article, at the bottom they put, at the current time of writing this article, they don't have a position. But yeah. So then they took a position right after they published the article. It's just stupid. It's just nothing but a big old freaking rehearsed mess. But we're coming right up on earnings here. Let's see what happens. You almost would think it would have to push up. Because, well, one of the things I noticed, somebody asked me a question about the options, where I was talking about the calls emptying out, and then the market makers will move it up. And, a lot of times these institutions, they buy both, eh? Say a year out. I think there's options that you can get right now for like 2026. So who's ever selling the options and buying the options, whatever the case may be, these market makers can roundabout way through other institutions and hedge funds and everything. They hedge their bet. So if you buy puts and calls a year out, now the market maker can move that down, get rid of their puts, and now move it back up to get rid of their calls. And, you got to prove who's doing it and why it happened and this and that. And when you got, your SEC that's, patting your hand, how's that, it's just one big institution against retail. That's all it is. Somebody's got some really deep pockets, though. Because what is it, like, what are they short, like 64 million now or something? So, that's a lot. That's a lot for this. Won't take a whole lot. I took off, if you... Damn phone. But I took off that cover thing because it looks stupid up there. But I mean, our lines are still in play. It's going to be huge resistance at that 176. I'd like to see this come close to the 150 tomorrow or the next day. Be trying to get above the 150 by Friday. I don't know if they'll do it, because they're going to want to try to hold it below 150. I didn't look at the I should do that, actually. Hold on, I'll be with you in a second. I want to look at the options and see. Yeah, January of 26, they have them. So that was a huge increase. I just looked at this, I don't know, like 3-4 days ago or something. And so January 16th of 26, 633 days from now, you got $1.50 puts. It was at like 10,000. Now it's 16,000. And the dollar puts are at 10,000. So let's go up to, we'll look at January 17th, 25. You got 11,000 $2 puts, almost 12,000 $1.50 puts, and 4,500 dollar puts. But then on the other side, for a call, you got a $1.50 call of 22,000, and that's that's January of 25. And all the calls are just stacked up for January of 25 because they've been so cheap, eh? So you got all the way up to, there's 3,500 at $5. There's 5,000 at $3.50, 8,000 at $3, 11,000 at $2.50. It's just crazy. And then there's nothing for November of 24, nothing to speak of. 1,000 this, 1,000 that. But then August 16th, there's a calls. And then there's basically nothing all the way up until, yeah, there's basically nothing. Well, I guess there's 18,000 $4 calls for May 17th. And it's a little stacked. 6,000, 5,000, 7,000 at $2. It's a little stacked on the calls for May. But anyway, what I'm saying is, they hedge their bet. So the market maker, depending on whatever, I can't say it's the market maker that's doing it, but they also hide a lot of shorts and stuff like that in options, which is really hard to explain. But I know that they do. I've talked to people that have done research and stuff, and the numbers add up. And but I mean, if you watch the options market, you'll see these sweeps when they bring it below a significant number. All of a sudden, you'll see a big chunk disappear. So, and that's kind of the way, that's one of the ways that somebody short can gain shares, eh? So it's just it's a complicated scenarios. You know, you really have to do. We did all this digging when I was watching AMC and stuff, really, you know, a lot. It was like everybody had it under a microscope. And you learn a lot about how they manipulated shares and the price and, you know, how they got around the failures to deliver and stuff like that. So, you know, it's kind of like institutions. You can see like certain institutions are kind of working with each other, eh? They're trading shares back and forth. So, and, you know, so some people, some of the institutions, the head guys or whatever, you know, they have come right out and said, you know, everything they do is actually legit. It's so SEC writes the rules, they get all their lawyers and all their friends and stuff, and they find a way to just weasel around that gray area, eh? Just poke and pick at what's legal and what's not, and they're just barely getting by legally. So, and that's what happens, and it's not just with Fubo. So all you can do is kind of move with the flow, you know, try to guess the best you can, be prepared. But I mean, still, right now, and I mean, I'm kind of babbling here, so I'll get to the end of this, but you know, right now, I even started buying shares myself on this and fuel cell. So, you know, I go back to that tape measure scenario. You know, you're at $1.40. This has been to $32. You know, they're going to have to cover shorts eventually. So I'm going to use this time and start collecting shares whenever it makes a dip, and maybe some calls way out. You know, gives me time to move them. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. If we can get another green day, get some kind of clarification whether this is gonna, if we get a reversal here, it's gonna start trending up, or if they're just gonna go up 3-4 days and then back down 7. You know, it's been a fight, that's for sure. But you notice on the end of this, it says when it got down here, that market maker couldn't hold that down for nothing. I mean, the buying was crazy. Huge chunks too. I was watching it. I saw there was like 10 right in a row at 5,000. And that was, I mean, that's a lot to see it happen, run right after another like that, you know. Somebody was going to keep buying 5,000 shares all the while it was there. So they moved, market maker moved it up quick. They didn't want nothing, didn't want any part of that. So it's fun to watch it down here if you're not, you know, panicking too bad. It's good time to lower your average. That's for sure. You notice the volume is crazy too, compared to that 4, 5, 6 million that it was at. Now we're back at, you know, 11.5, 12. So it'd be interesting to see what happens the next couple weeks here. Or actually the next week and a half. You got earnings coming out. So let's see. I'll make another video at the end of the week. So see you in the next one.